Every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major story, 18 members of the Niger State House of Assembly impeach Speaker of the House, Adamu Usman, in absentia appoints Isa Kawu. Also in this program, President-elect Muhammadu Buhari meets with all state governors of the All Progressives Congress to discuss state of economy. House of Representatives call for total removal of subsidy on petroleum products. And outside Nigeria, Islamic State militants takes responsibility of attack at the Texas Muhammad Khatun contest. Speaker of Niger State House of Assembly Adamu Usman has been impeached by 18 of 27 members, with Isa Kawu of Bida 1 state constituency elected new speaker. Activities of the State House of Assembly were halted following the seal-up of the Niger State House of Assembly complex by a combined team of police and operatives of the Department of State Services, allegedly in a bid to stop threats by members of the Assembly to impeach the state governor Babangida Aliyu. The Assembly members, however, defied the presence of the armed security men and forced their way into the Assembly complex after damaging the chain used in locking the gate. The police officer, a deputy superintendent of police DSP, however, said it was not with the keys of the gate. After about an hour, the maids arrived and the House settled down for plenary, with 19 out of the 25 members of the Assembly present. Following the absence of the Speaker Adamu Usman for plenary, as agreed during the executive meeting on Monday, a member of the House, Abdullahi Akwano, representing Agai constituency, drew the attention of the House to Order 8 of the House Standing Rules, which provides that in the absence of the Speaker from the House without any reason, a Speaker pro tempore be appointed to enable the proceeding of the House. Consequently, a motion was moved by the member representing Boso constituency, Usman Dada, for the appointment of a Speaker pro tempore, and this was seconded by another member. Jacob Magi Ghana, representing Lavon constituency, added that the absence of the leadership of the House had caused them some level of embarrassment and therefore moved for the removal of the leadership. Consequently, a motion was moved by the member representing Boso constituency for the appointment of a speaker, and that was seconded by yet another member. Policemen deployed at the Niger State House of Assembly are accused of assaulting journalists who were at the Assembly complex to cover the unfolding impeachment saga in the state. The police had locked the gate to prevent members and staff of the Assembly, journalists and guests from entering or going out of the House. The move, it was learned, was to prevent the lawmakers from forming a quorum to move for the impeachment of the state governor, Babangida Aliyu. It was reliably gathered that the Niger State Assistant Commissioner of Police Operations, Emmanuel Uloko, ordered that nobody be allowed in or out of the premises, as there were feelers that the mace, the symbol of authority of the Assembly, was missing. But when the clerk of the Assembly, Abdullahi Kagara, got to the gate, the policeman who barricaded the gate opened for him, but barred journalists who tried to walk into the complex. In Enugu State, as the crisis of the House of Assembly continues there, with the threat of impeachment hanging on the neck of the state governor, Sullivan Chime, members of the People's Democratic Party have now taken to the streets of the state to protest the move. The members who took to the streets in their numbers chanted solidarity songs against what they described as an unnecessary crisis. Despite the heavy police barricade in front of the House of Assembly, some of the protesters spoke to CoreTV News on what they described as an unnecessary crisis at the tail end of the administration.
To demonstrate our love, our support, our loyalty to our honorable governor, Sullivan Chime, whom we should be celebrating by now for the good work he has done in Enugu State. What the good work have been doing in Enugu State. This is not the way we should stand you up. This is a man that has done so much in Enugu State that is worthy to celebrate. We shall resist any attempt.
In Enugu State, Goodluck Jonathan contested in Abuja, and he lost his own. He did not start making problems in the whole Nigeria. I see no reason if you contest election and you did not win, you have to go back to your house and not to come to Enugu State and cause problem. We don't have problem here.
So
okay? And we welcome our new speaker, which is Chinedu Wamba, and Chinedu Wamba, Enugu State stands up.
Governors elected under the platform of the All Progressives Congress are worried about the state of the economy and wants President-elect Muhammadu Buhari to do something about it as soon as he's sworn in. They also solicited his support for an intervention fund to enable state governors clear the backlog of workers' salaries. They made the appeal when they visited President-elect Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja.
The delegation of APC governors is a mix of incumbent state executives and incoming ones. Their mission, they say, is to deliberate with the president-elect on the high expectations of Nigerians from the incoming administration. But first, the governors expressed concern over the state of the economy, which they described as worrisome. They want the president-elect to quickly rescue the situation when he assumes office on May 29.
We do know that corruption has been one of the major factor leading to this situation for us. And your stand on anti-corruption is one that has given you this victory. We hope you are coming in, will correct all these skills, and we have a new, stronger economy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As soon as you are sworn in, you have one major issue to tackle. That is the issue of payment of salaries at the state level. At state level and federal level.
The governors expressed their willingness to work with the incoming president, but also want him to carry them along. They are also worried about the unity of the country, which they say is paramount in ensuring a prosperous nation.
So your greatest partners in this movement are the governors of the various states. I would kindly request that we should be carried along in major decision making. And I'm happy our national chairman is here listening. That we should be carried along in major decision making. And so we can contribute the feelings of our people from the various states.
For his part, the president-elect says his first priority is the unity of the country. He also promised to come up with ideas that will improve the economy.
Gentlemen, we really deserve congratulations that we are here. And we emphasize the problem ahead of us. We have to continue to seek the support of understanding of our constituency so that they will give us the chance to quickly do as much as we can to stabilize the security economy of the country.
The president-elect also called on Nigerians not to expect magic from the incoming administration, but rather they should join hands with his administration to build a better Nigeria for all. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
A double amputee is embarking on a trek from Kaduna to Abuja to meet with President-elect Muhammadu Buhari. Musa Ibrahim told CoreTV News shortly after taking off that he decided on the long trek to draw attention to the plight of physically challenged Nigerians. Amina Nebi has more in this report presented in our studio.
This man is trekking from Kaduna to Abuja, just like Sulaiman Kashimu, who recently spent 19 days walking from Lagos to Abuja. But unlike the Lagos trekker, 30-year-old Musa Muhammad is a double amputee. He has opted to trek to Abuja from Kaduna to deliver a message to the president-elect on the need to consider physically challenged persons for political appointment.
We want you to deliver this letter to our humble president-elect, congratulating him on his new position.
He also hopes that incoming government will do better than the outgoing one in the area of employment for disabled persons.
I'm trying to appreciate what Allah has done for us by giving us a new set of government from the state up to the national level, for giving us Nasir El-Rufai as Kaduna State Governor-elect and President-elect as Muhammadu Buhari.
Asked how he hopes to cope during the exercise, Musa had this to say.
President-elect has made a promise to eradicate corruption and stabilize the economy, but it can only succeed if we support him.
He plans to get to Abuja in 5 days and hopefully have a one-on-one section with the president-elect Muhammadu Buhari on a plight of physically challenged Nigerians.
The House of Representatives has rejected calls for a total removal of subsidy on petroleum products. This follows the failure of a motion by a lawmaker from Kogi State, Karimi Sunday, who believes the perennial food scarcity would end if government removes subsidy totally. Representative Sunday had argued that only a few persons enjoyed the subsidy and wanted the industry fully liberalized to allow investors import products on their own without waiting to abuse the subsidy regime. But when Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha put the motion to vote, it was defeated in a majority voice note. The federal government has set aside 145 billion naira for fuel subsidy in the 2015 budget. This, according to Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, is contrary to reports that there is no provision for subsidy payment in the spending plan. She made this clarification while giving a breakdown of the 2015 budget in Abuja. The minister also insisted that the Nigerian economy is more stable than those of many oil-producing countries in the world, in spite of the global oil slump. The Trade Union Congress has called on the incoming administration of President-elect Muhammadu Buhari to investigate the entire subsidy scheme in the country. Rivers State Chairman of the TUC, Chika Onuegbo, who described the fuel subsidy payment scheme as fraud, explained that the program was framed in favor of oil marketers. Explaining that the oil marketers were holding the country to ransom, the State TUC Chairman urged the President-elect to investigate every kobo paid in error as subsidy and punish offenders. Onoigbo, who spoke in Port Harcourt, argued that oil marketers are blackmailing the federal government to pay them claims even when the government disagrees with their figures. He, however, expressed the need for the country to decide on the issue of subsidy payment. The nationwide food scarcity is biting harder on Ekiti residents, and despite the fund released by the federal government, retail marketers in Ekiti State says the impact cannot be felt as the problem of scarcity may linger further than expected. Rashid has more in this report from Ado Ekiti. Consequently, President Goodluck Jonathan has now approved the appointment of Asabe Ahmed as Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Equalization Fund. Ahmed is the incumbent Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development. Presidential spokesman Ruben Abati said the president has also named Denzel Katembe as Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Management Development Board. The two appointments come less than a month to the end of President Jonathan's tenure in office. People's Democratic Party inaugurates probe committee and performance at the just concluded general polls. Find out more on that story and others shortly after this break. Don't go away.
Introducing Smart Connect, where get plenty awoof to allow you talk, text, and browse nyafu for tin in the money.
Say you know say with just 200 naira recharge card, Airtel they serve me with 200% bonus to yarn more with any network. Now you not call me your fiance.
Relax. In fact, I don't buy your own addressing. As correct vessel. Anytime I recharge 200 naira and above, Smart Connect they serve me with free internet to browse. If you want to make your family follow you enjoy, buy your 4-in-1 family pack for the price of one. Oh baby.
This girl too, na family and friends.
No carry last though. Buy your Airtel SIM today.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. If it's just joined us, it's CoreTV Primetime News. Another look at the top story. President-elect Muhammadu Buhari meets with all state governors of the All Progressives Congress to discuss state of economy. Eighteen members of the Niger State House of Assembly impeach Speaker of the House, Adamu Usman, in absentia appoints Isa Kawu. And House of Representatives call for total removal of subsidy on petroleum products. Moving on now, you can also get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. And on Twitter, you can also stream live all of our programs and news on YouTube now. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, space and news. The Senate has mandated its committees on defense and army to investigate the circumstance behind a recent attack on some communities in Plateau State that left over 80 persons dead. This was on the basis of a motion moved by Senator Victor La, who represents Plateau South in the Senate. Deputy Senate President Ike Kurumadu issued the order after listening to the gory picture of death and destruction painted by the senator. Law had claimed that the attackers who destroyed at least 5 villages were dressed in outfits that looked like that of the Nigerian army.
Their operations tended to imply that they were not genuine Nigerian army personnel because they used matches to hack down people, they shot at and killed women and children, they killed men, uniformed policemen and civil defense personnel, they burned down every and any house within reach, and they used petrol to burn the bodies of the victims that they killed. The essence of making this explanation, Mr. President, is that when our brothers and sisters in the Northeast were under the heavy yoke of insurgency, and there were operations that tended to imply that it was either the army or Boko Haram, this Senate took the wise decision of listening and sending a committee to investigate and reporting.
Our prayer is that we should see to the end of this insurgency in any form, whether it is military, armed militia, or insurgency, or any kind of unfortunate attack on ordinary citizens. We condemn it and hope that it will come to an end as short as possible time. Since we are not sure whether this operation came from the armed forces or insurgents or armed militia, let me quickly suggest that the Committee on Defense should contact the Military High Command to verify the identity of those who carried out this attack.
The Progressives Congress Party may be heading for a brick wall a few weeks before it takes over the mantle of leadership if it fails to consider equitable distribution in its choice of appointment among the 6 geopolitical zones that make up Nigeria. A group from the South-South Equity Forum at the media briefing in Benin has called on the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari to reflect federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity in line with the 1999 Constitution. Our correspondent has more in this update from Benin.
Addressing newsmen, the group, through its spokesman Harrison Omagbon, says the speakership position be ceded to the South-South region. He said for equity's sake and for the continued adherence to the federal character principle, the position should be for the South-South.
The Southwest and Northwest already have the position of President and Vice President, respectively. It is only fair and just, and as a matter of necessity, if the Senate presidency goes to either the Northeast or North Central. The speakership should go to the South-South. While the Southwest has a Vice President, invariably the speakership should come from the South-South, since the Southeast has no ranking member.
The group said the APC as a party cannot afford the crisis that will arise from the mismanagement of a victory, which was why the PDP lost in the last election across the country. The group, which had its representatives mainly from Edo State, had no single coordinator from the state in the South-South in attendance, which claimed, just as the appeal to the president-elect, the leadership of the APC to be on the side of the fair play, equity and justice.
The Presidential Advisory Council on International Relations has held a valedictory meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan. The council, led by its chairman and former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Emeka Anyako, disclosed that the visit is the last meeting with the outgoing president. Speaking with journalists after a breakfast meeting with the president at the presidential villa, Chief Anyako said the country owed Jonathan a huge debt of gratitude, not only for conceding defeat, but also for delivering credible elections.
Well, we had an excellent valedictory meeting with the president. This being the last meeting of our council and the last time we are meeting with the outgoing president. We told him that our nation, Nigeria, owes him a huge debt of gratitude for what he has done in terms of the elections, the success of the elections, and above all, in terms of his gesture in picking up his telephone and congratulating the president-elect even before the results of the final results of the elections were announced. That singular act has earned our country a great deal of admiration and respect abroad, and we thanked him and congratulated him on that. And we also wished him well for his future endeavors.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party has inaugurated a 15-man committee to unravel the remote and immediate cause of the party's performance at the last general elections. The PDP Post-Election Review Committee is headed by Deputy Senate President Ike Kwerimadu. PDP National Chairman Adamu Muazu told committee members to take a critical look at the party's preparations for the 2015 elections with a view to determining its adequacies and lapses. Basil Okafor has more in this report presented from our studios.
After suffering its first presidential election defeat since 1999, the PDP is set to reinvent itself. But the party leaders agree that they must first resolve all issues that led to the party's poor outing in the 2015 general elections. To achieve this, the National Working Committee of the party has set up a committee saddled with the responsibilities of finding a solution out of its present predicament.
That the National Working Committee, under the able leadership of His Excellency the National Chairman Alhaji Adamu Amadu Muazu, are carefully selected, committed party leaders, accomplished administrators, patriotic Nigerians, to form this committee that is to be known as the PDP Post-Election Review Committee. And the terms of reference of this committee are as follows. 1. To identify the remote and immediate causes of the relatively poor performance of the PDP in the 2015 general elections. 2. To trace the origin and process of the seeming decline of the party in its electoral performance. 3. To take a critical look at the preparations and build-up of the PDP to the general elections and determine its adequacies and lapses.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu is heading the committee that was handed the responsibility of reviewing the party's performance. He assured party leaders of his committee's readiness to carry out the task without fear or favor.
We assure you all that we will carry out this assignment to the best of our ability and without fear or favor. We earnestly request members of our party to avail the committee all necessary information in line with the terms of reference earlier mentioned.
The committee is to, among others, determine the lapses that led to PDP losing its 16-year hold onto power. These, according to party leaders, is with a view to proposing a roadmap for the party to recover its past glory.
Most Nigerians believe corruption has been a major challenge ravaging the country for years now. With the incoming Buhari administration, the mandatory declaration of assets by political appointment seekers has become a front-burner issue to encourage accountability and bring to an end corruption in the country. This political analyst says though asset declaration in and of itself is not necessarily a deterrent from corrupt practices, Nigeria needs to focus on institutional frameworks that can assist the new government in achieving its objective of zero tolerance for corruption.
Declaration of asset is a constitutional matter, and I can assure you, even members of the present administration declared theirs. There was a time Jonathan was criticized for not making his asset declaration public. He said, well, he has fulfilled the law, and he is right. So curbing corruption, you see, it takes a lot to curb corruption. It's simplistic to think that mere declaration of asset, publicly or privately, would curb corruption. No, corruption has both what I may call psychological, economic, socio-cultural aspects, and these have to be dealt with.
The Chief Judge of Ogun State, Olatokunbo Olopade, has freed 38 inmates awaiting trial in the 5 prison facilities in the state. Olajumoke Olatunji, who was on the visit, has more in this report.
The Chief Judge, who paid a 2-day courtesy visit to the facilities, lamented that the strike embarked upon by judicial workers, which was recently called off, delayed the exercise. The Chief Judge pardoned 6 inmates who were awaiting trial at Alaro Prison, while she set free 15 inmates at Ibarra Prison, 12 at Oba Prison in Obafemi Owode local government area of the state, and 2 were freed at Ijebu and Shagamu. One of the lucky inmates, Toyin Akoni, related our deal and expressed happiness at gaining freedom again.
I saw some guys and they asked me what happened. I told them I was looking for a boss and she stole my phone. So I went looking for her, give or take like 2 hours. Not knowing that almost like 5 minutes after I left, they apprehended her and started beating her in my absence. So when I got there, I took her away from them, and she took me to the engineer where who she gave the phone. I retrieved the phone, and that was all I knew. Eventually, I learned she died 2 weeks later. That's why I was trying to murder me.
I was in my house on 18 February last year, when policemen came from SAS around midnight to arrest my younger brother. So I was now dragging with them that what's the offense, where is the station, so I can go when the day break to go and see them. So one of them that led the group came and said, who am I to be questioning the authority that they should arrest everybody in the house. So they arrested me, arrested my younger brother, one of my friends that is staying with me, and the wife. So they later left the wife alone. So they brought us to Abeokuta here. So after about 2 months, they now charged us to court with some people that we met and they said that they were armed robbers.
Others expressed happiness and excitement at them regaining freedom once again. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
Save the Children, the UN body that tabulates mother-child survivors, says Nigeria ranks 171 amongst places safest to have a child. Save the Children CEO Caroline Miles said the data confirmed that a country's economic wealth is not the sole factor leading to happy mothers, but that policies need to be put in place. In this instance, Norway ranks as the world's best place to be a mother, well ahead of the United States, which dropped to the 33rd spot in the annual scorecard released by UN body. However, Somalia is the worst place, just below the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Central African Republic. Save the Children released its 16th Annual Mothers Index, which rates 179 countries based on 5 indicators related to maternal health, education, income levels, and the status of women. Among the top 10, Australia is the only non-European country at number 9, while France and Britain take the 23rd and 24th spot, below Canada at number 20. Cities in Bangladesh, Cambodia, Ghana, India, Kenya, Madagascar, Nigeria, Peru, Rwanda, Vietnam and Zimbabwe have the highest gap for child survivor, with poor children 3 to 5 times more likely to die than their affluent peers. It should, however, be noted that the 10 worst places are all sub-Saharan African countries, with Haiti tied with Sierra Leone for the 169th spot. We're joined now on telephone by Kayode Isa, Kwara State Commissioner for Health. Thank you for finding time to join us tonight. Why exactly have you been able to identify what is the reason why the health status as regards child care in Nigeria has deteriorated over the years?
The best way to look at it is through the efforts of Nigerian government on the increase of MDG 4, 5, and 6, which relates to maternal and child health. If I want to zero down to Kwara area, which for where I am the Honorable Commissioner for Health, I want to tell you that the indices are actually improving because we have put in place some very outstanding healthcare programs that are working for us here in Kwara State. Kwara State in Nigeria has gone far on community insurance. We started 7, and as at now, talking to you, we have been able to have a skilled back. Out of these, about 10% are through cesarean. Our community health insurance is a program that helps people just pay about $3 for quality health for 1 whole year. And currently we have release. These are basically for the rural environment and the suburban environment.
If I can quickly interrupt you, Honorable Commissioner, it's also stated by these findings that there seems to be a very high gap for child survivor, with poor children here in this part of the world 3 to 5 times more likely to die than their affluent peers. Of course, you agree with me that what is obtainable where you are is not a reflection of the quality of health across the country. What is responsible for the relatively poor health care provision in public institutions relative to private institutions?
Yeah, basically, financing health is through out of pocket, majorly. And until we are able to embrace health insurance, that is when we will have a good number of our people, both old and young, having access to healthcare delivery service. One beautiful thing on the Nigerian health insurance scheme is that they are now incorporating primary school pupils into health insurance in Nigeria, which the government is working on. Here in Kwara, we have been able to have support for that. Once it kickstarts in Nigeria, which also, key in. Majorly, we have to shift our attention to health insurance finance so that we'll be able to reach out to everybody in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for finding time to join us on the news tonight. I've been speaking with Kayode Issa, Commissioner for Health in Kwara State. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll find out what's happening in business, sports, and stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
On business tonight, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it has disbursed the sum of 60 billion naira to Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Fund. The CBN Governor Special Advisor in Development Finance, Paul Eluhai, said they gave the figures during the commencement of the disbursement of the fund to the physically challenged. According to Eluhai, each state of the Federation will be able to access 2 billion naira, which would be administered to beneficiaries at an interest rate of 9%. Also, 2% of the fund, representing about 4.4 billion naira, would be made available for economically active, physically challenged entrepreneurs. Speaking to journalists shortly after the commencement, Eluhai says the criteria to get the funds might be stringent because the CBN is being careful to ensure that those who actually got the fund have the ability to repay. This is because the microfinance banks have conditions to meet. He urged the physically challenged who had benefited from the fund to make efficient use of it. The National Council on Privatization, the NCP, has approved new draft policy for the reform of national parks in the country. Consequently, the Council has directed the Minister of Environment to present all the necessary legal and regulatory documents for the enactment of a National Parks Bill in the country to the Federal Executive Council for approval. The documents are the Draft Policy on Nigerian National Parks, Draft National Park Service Bill, and Draft Implementation Framework for National Park Service Sector. This decision taken by the NCP took place at the meeting in the presidential villa. The federal government plans to sell 60 billion naira worth of sovereign bonds on the 13th of May. The Debt Management Office said on Tuesday it will sell 5, 10 and 20-year sovereign bonds. According to the DMO, it says it will sell 20 billion naira each of the papers due to mature in 2020, 2024 and 2034 respectively. The papers are reopenings of previous issues, and the results of the auction will be published the following day. Let's now join Sabena Izoku for update on the stock market report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabena Izoku. The equities market on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today as Nigerian All Shares Index depreciated by 0.14% to close at 34,600.42 basis points. The market capitalization declined to close at 11.75 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 247.40 million units of shares valued at 4.2 billion naira were exchanged in 4,848 deals. On the gainer side, to top the chart closed at 157 naira 40 kobo with a price difference of 7 naira and 7 kobo, followed by Khan Oil, Eco Transnational Incorporation, West African Production Company, and Vitafoam. On the flip side, Nestle topped the chart, followed by Nigerian Breweries, Guinness, Summit Company North of Nigeria, and Mobil Oil. For the top trade side, United Bank for Africa topped the charts, followed by Axis Bank, Zenith Bank, Sterling Bank, and Guarantee Trust Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today. I am Savannah Izoku.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
On sports tonight, Manny Pacquiao could be out of action for 1 year as he prepares to have surgery on his injured shoulder. The 36-year-old blamed the injury for Saturday's points defeat by Floyd Mayweather, claiming it stopped him using his right hand during the bout. Pacquiao's advisor Michael Kons denied claims the Filipino's camp deliberately did not declare the injury to the Nevada Athletic Commission. He added that the injury was likely to sideline the fighter for between 9 and 12 months. Pacquiao said he wanted a pre-fight injection in the shoulder that the Nevada Athletic Commission refused. Commission Chairman Francisco Aguila said he first knew about the injury 2 hours before the fight, when Pacquiao's camp requested an anti-inflammatory shot to be administered. Officials denied the request, and Aguila blamed Pacquiao for not disclosing his injury sooner. Meanwhile, Coach Donga confirmed the 23-year-old had been omitted from his group due to injury following discussions with the Premier League club's medical staff. His absence provides the opportunity for Everton Ribeiro of the UAE-based club Al Ahly to return to the squad. Real Madrid's Marcelo, Monaco's Fabinho, Casemiro of Porto, and Santos striker Robinho were among those breathing a sigh of relief as their places in the squad were all confirmed after what had been a nervous wait. The rest of the group is made up of those who have featured regularly since the World Cup, including David Luiz, Thiago Silva, and Barcelona star and captain Neymar. The squad were made at the Granja Camari training complex in Teresopolis on June 1, ahead of the final warm-up matches against Mexico and Honduras in what will be Brazil's first games in front of a home crowd since last year's World Cup. The Frenchman complained of discomfort in his right Achilles tendon during training and will therefore miss the first leg of a side semi-final. His absence means Marc Bartra of Javier Mascherano was slotting alongside Gerard at centre-back. Luis Enrique would also had fitness doubts over Jordi Alba after the fullback trained alone on Monday, but he will be available for the meeting with former Barca boss Pep Guardiola. The 46-year-old faces his old club for the first time since departing in 2012, but has his own fitness concerns to contend with ahead of the game. And now to tennis. Defending champion Maria Sharapova continued their return to form as she swept past Colombia's Maria Donke Marino at the Madrid Open. Sharapova, 28, lost early in her last 3 tournaments, but beat Donke Marino 6-1, 6-2 to reach the last 16. Czech 4th seed Petra Vitova came through a testing encounter against American Coco Vandeweghe 6-4, 2-6, 6-3. Victoria Azarenka beat Ajla Chomlanovic 6-3, 6-3 to set up a third-round meeting with American top seed Serena Williams. Third seed Sharapova broke Donke Marino's serve 4 times while saving 3 breakpoints on her own serve. The Russian will replace Simona Halep as world #2 if she reaches the final after the Romanian lost her opening match. To end CoreTV primetime news, another look at the top story. We reported that the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari has met with all state governors of the All Progressives Congress to discuss the state of the economy. And 18 members of the Niger State House of Assembly has impeached Speaker of the House Adamu Usman in absentia, appoints Isa Kawu. And that wraps it on the news tonight. A big thank you to the production crew. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.